start with a blow dry because it's very important that you nail a blow dry before anything else. So I'm going to show you how to work with different size brushes, how to get a curl with the brush, and pretty much steps on how to nail a really good blow dry. So Tiffany, she's worked at the blow dry bar in West Hollywood, and she's assisted me for many years, but when she mastered blow dry, she's like, Mom, let me teach you a couple of things. So after, she taught me a couple of things, I noticed the difference from just an average blow dry to an amazing blow dry. Now, is this just air dried, or did you curl it, blow it out?
I smoothed it out a little bit with
but
yeah, because it gets really curly, like here and here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go ahead and use Lucy. We'll see when it's wet, and I'll show you the difference if it's really curly or whatnot. We'll get Tiffany to have shampoo and blow dry her while I set up. I got into the industry and I started doing more celebrities. I have a lot of more updated stuff, but you get to see a lot of my editorials. I've worked on Kim Kardashian, Josie Moran, Layla Milani. Just recently I did Jennifer Odell, Jeannie Mai. I worked on a TV show called How Do I Look on the Style Network, and met a lot of people and learned a lot as I was there. I also do photography, so I do hair, makeup, and photography. I learned back in the 80s the glamour shots. So in the 90s I thought, well, I'm going to modernize that and make it more modern, no more big feathers and all that good stuff. So I did that for a while, I had that business going, and I really wanted to be in a salon. I wanted to do color and cuts and all that, not just styling. Then she got licensed, and then we opened up Norma Blaque Studios, and that's in San Fernando. I have Fatima, she's one of my top makeup artists that works there, and Arlene over here as well. She's in the freshman class, and they're amazing. So I'm like, girls, go to West Valley. You guys got to get your license and so forth. So here they are. And one of my friends said, we need help for a fashion show. And the big name was Carolina Bacardi, the model. And the other big names were the America's Next Top Model models, and their makeup artist was going to feature. And of course, the producer of the whole fashion show was Diane Ross's daughter. So I didn't know who she was. So I was excited for America's Next Top Model and go over and do them. So we're doing hair, and it was like 22 models, right? Kim Kardashian being one of them. So I'm doing her hair, She goes out, and I took pictures of all my work. And it was an experience. I put things away, filed the pictures and whatnot. Years later, Kim Kardashian blows up. Tiffany, my daughter, is going through all my stuff. Okay, we got to get rid of this picture, that picture. Oh my God, Mom, you did Kim Kardashian. But she was nice. I mean, I remember her. And then I met her again with when I did Jeannie, when I was on, because she also is the E! Network, and Style Network is under the same network company. So the industry, I remember when I was younger, and I would tell my parents that I wanted to do hair. And they just thought, you're not going to make any money doing hair. And we were like very modest. We didn't have a lot of money. We were quite poor. And the biggest I could dream was supercuts. Fantastic sound. And I'm not putting them down. I just thought, oh, I can't wait to work there, and that's what I'm going to do. And back then, I mean, they still pay, I think, minimum wage. You might get $9 an hour, something like that. But that was big to me, if I could get a license and go work there. And my parents thought it was crazy. No, it ain't going to happen, blah, blah. Well, years later, I learned that no matter what you choose to do, you could be a gardener and be really successful at it. If you own your own business, if you're doing celebrities, or whatever the case. So I was hungry for big, and when I shared that with my husband, he said, you're making tons of money being a loan officer at the bank. Why do you want to go backwards and get minimum wage and drop a mile away? And I said, because I know I'm going to make it, and I know if I just had this passion for it, yeah. So I picked up this book called, it was from Crystal Wright. She's a hair and makeup agent. She represents hair and makeup artists for the industry. And it teaches you how, step by step, how to get into the industry. So I bought the book, and I studied it. It was my Bible. I read it over and over. And it says, do a lot of free work. You're going to invest like $2,000 your first year just building a book. And honestly, that's an old book, the one you guys are looking at. Like when you go on our website, you'll see all the red carpets, the Golden Globes I've done, and other celebrities. I just get a brain fart, I can't remember who. But I followed the book to the T, and the whole time arguing with my husband because he just didn't see what I saw. And so I built my book, and I started shopping for an agent, and I thought somebody, and it's so hard to get in, guys. It's really hard. You need the strongest book ever. You need to know people. It's like a catch-22. You need celebrities in your book, but how are you going to get celebrities in your book if you're not out there working? And it's like, how do you do it? So, you know, again, you got to work for free a lot. I can't stress that enough. And if you look at it as training, learning, building my book, then you know, you can accept it better. It won't be as bad. Don't listen to people around you. Remember, keep the goals away from the trolls, because they'll knock you down. They'll say, oh, why are you doing that? And then you start believing that. So ignore what people say. If they say it, let it go in one ear, out the other. Just believe that you can do it. I need a really good hairstylist. I need one person. So I came down, I met with her, and number 2 is personality, professionalism, and you know, you can't just go in there like, yeah, so I'm great, and blah, blah, blah. So I went in, you know, and I talked to her, and I thank you and goodbye. And so I didn't hear from her, and I thought, okay, well, I tried. And then before you know it, she calls me, and it was probably 2 months later after that. I thought, I forgot about it. And when she called me, she's like, yeah, I got this job for you, and blah, blah, I want to test you out. So it's usually they'll hire you for like an assistant at no pay, just to see how you work and your professionalism and so forth. So I went in and I met a couple of people. I showed her my stuff, and then she booked me again. And I would say by the 6th job, she signed me. And that was like, woo, I was so excited. And then she was just booking me left and right. And that was more like, I did the VMAs with her, Coca-Cola. We did Nikon. Yeah, there was like lots of little jobs that she booked me for that were big time pay. And what I mean big time is like they'll pay $800 for the day. As an assistant, $200 a day. And that was like, oh my God, then I'm telling my husband, you see, I told you. And so, you know, she kept working me, and I was building now. My portfolio was getting bigger, and now they were paid jobs, right? So I would say 2 years later, she wrote this book. It blew up. She's now internationally known. Google her. She's amazing. So she wrote us a very long letter saying we're no longer going to represent artists. I'm stopping that because she focused on her book and workshops and so forth that she did. So I was left with no agent, but an amazing portfolio, amazing everything else. And I thought, okay, so I'm going to take what I learned and then just continue in the industry. So that's what I did. You have to meet a lot of people. You have to go out a lot. You have to, you know, just get out. So when you're there and you meet people, you might meet the lighting tech, or you might meet somebody who's cleaning the set, or it doesn't matter. And they will introduce you to so and so and so and so. And that's how I landed, by meeting people. One of the wardrobe stylists remembered me, and then she said, hey Norma, they're looking for a hairstylist for How Do I Look? And so that was Jeannie Live. So she was referred to 5 people, and 3 of us out of those 5 had a website. So she was down to the 3. And then out of those 3, she liked my work, so she called me in for a test. And I came in to do 1 day her hair. And the next day, she fired her hairstylist and hired me, and I was on it for the next 4 seasons. So that was amazing. So your portfolio gets you in, your personality, professionalism keeps you in there, and you just do amazing work, and they start referring you. And so that's how I got in, and now I know tons of people, and they're referring left and right, and save my pennies and open up a studio. So we brought Hollywood to San Fernando, and we run it like West Hollywood, Beverly Hills. It's really chic, it's fashionable. All our clients that come in say, oh my God, this is beautiful, we needed this around here. And so we wanted to change that reputation and make it modern and so forth. So keep it fresh, keep it modern, and do really good work. Okay, so we're going to start the blow dry section. I'm going to start with telling you that to always, you guys know what wet sets are, right? Obviously. The way the hair dries, the way it's shaped is how it will stay, pretty much. So if she wanted her hair to the side, when it's wet, you have to shape it that way. So in other words, I can't start my blow dry with her hair like that. because it's going to start drying like that. And then you get that funky chicken that doesn't want to do what you want it to do. So always, always shape it and sculpt it while it's wet. In this case, I saw she had like a center part. So we're going to give her almost that Kim Kardashian flip out thing. So we shape it that way. We always start in the front. That's key because, again, it starts drying that way. And you could reshape it a little, but if you want a nail and you want that perfect tan finish, this is the best way to do it. Start in the front, section by section, and then you'll get exactly what you want. Let me have you start back here, yeah? So because Tiffany's going to be helping me, we'll finish faster, and we'll go ahead and talk as we're going. Is there any questions for now before we start blow drying? Now you guys know the size of the curling iron matters. The size of the brushes matter too. So if I want big waves, I'm going to use this size brush. If I want to straighten out her hair, I'll use an even bigger brush. But you don't use a big brush if you want curls in the hair, if you want to achieve curls. So I'm going to show you how to get curls with a small brush, and then we're going to finish her blow dry with this size. But it's the same concept. You can use curling irons, and you know, my hair doesn't hold a curl. So why doesn't it hold a curl? Because they're using the wrong size. Because honestly, like even straight hair, really straight hair, you just have to product each section and curl it, but use the right size iron. Matters. What we normally do is we spray in some leave-in conditioner, and then we use the Sexy Smooth and Protect. The size of the brush is the size of your section, just like curling iron. So I'm not going to take a big old huge section. I'm just going to take, and you can just eyeball the size. And I always, you want to start at the root and get that really dry. And you're not going to hold, let me put it on cold. You're not going to hold the blow dry there because you risk burning her hair. If you see smoke, you're doing something wrong. You don't want to see smoke. What you want to do is wiggle the iron or work fast. And Tiffany will work fast, I wiggle.
And the music is really
Yeah, we're usually pumping the music really loud in the studio because we like to bop when we blow dry, you know, it makes it more fun. And I like to cover every area, every angle, as long as you're heating up the root first. Don't worry about the ends yet. So I will blow dry this way, and then I'll blow dry this way. So the key is to get it really, really dry at the root. Experience where you burn somebody with the blow dryer. They'll do this, right? You don't want to do that because you want them to come back to you and book again. You want it to be pleasant. You want to protect your hair. So just remember to just not hold the heat in that area. And when you think the hair is dry, it really isn't. You can tell by the way the hair slides off the brush. Like right now, it's still, I feel the moisture. There's probably, although it visually looks dry, I can tell by how it feels on the brush. Once it slides like butter, then it's dry. And there's a reason for that, because if there's 10% moisture or even 5% moisture, she'll look fabulous when she leaves the salon, but in an hour, she'll be puffy. She'll frizz up. The weather will add to it or whatnot. So you have to make sure it's 100% dry. Feel it sliding. Okay? So then I put my stuff down, and the next thing to do with each section is pet it. I call it petting it because it looks frizzy right now. But when you pet it with your hands, what the heat of your hands are doing are sealing those cuticles. And when the cuticles are sealed, light reflects on it. So you get more shine, you get more smoothness, and you get to sculpt the hair while it's still hot. So it's kind of like setting it. And then I set it whichever way I want for now. And then I take my next section, which is still in the front. Doing too. She is the best. One side and I feel like the hair is pulled off a little bit, it'll hold the shape. So now I can move it out of the way and start on this. I'm going to show you with the smaller brush how to get a curl. And you're going to pretty much do the same thing. First focus on the root. When there's probably like 10 to 15% moisture still in the hair, you turn it and blow, turn it and blow. And you do that several times until the ends are, until it's sliding off the brush pretty much. This is just an example. I'm not going to leave her this curly, but if you wanted to, I just want to show you how you can get curls with a brush. You don't need an iron. But do you see how the curls are starting to form already? And it looks like I used a curling iron. Right? You see that? But that's not what we want to finish her with. I just wanted to show you. Okay, so that's one way, and this will give you like that beach wave. So when you stretch it out, you see those beach waves forming, and it looks like I use those tools, the zigzag curl. And then another way, and this I do mostly in the back. So in the front, I always do the curls back, and this side back. But when you're in the back, like where Tiffany is, you would bring the hair all the way up, roll it, heat it up, and then turn it. And then that gives you the curls. And what I do is I leave it and I do the next section, the next section, the next section. Then when I'm done, this will have already cooled off, and then I can shape her hair and spray, and she's got those amazing beachy Beyonce waves. Okay, but we don't want this side today. this position because all this hair at the root is pointing up and you're going to get the hair doing this. The Kim Kardashian is down and out. So when it's, I do like every different direction, but on my last, like the last 5% of moisture, when I'm sculpting it, then I start directing it in the way I want it to. And the front is really what you have to focus more on direction, because the back, you'll only see the ends of it. But it's good to practice proper blow drying in the back too. So you do this, and then I follow it with my fingers to get those little baby hairs that are right there that get kind of stubborn. And then I pet it, and it immediately leaves it smooth and shiny. Then I take that previous section and I do the same thing, because now we're shaping the hair. And always pet it. And you can visually see it happening, right? When you pet it. She says, Mom, they're going to laugh at you because you say pet. But it's true. I mean, I don't know how else to word it. You pet it. And even throughout your day, like when you blow out your own hair, it immediately removes the frizz, like right before you're done. So I'm going to turn her around and do the other side. So again, it doesn't matter when the hair's still wet, which direction you're holding it. Just what matters is the last 5% of moisture when it's dry. That's when you start sculpting. All her blow dries, and I know at the dry bar they do that too. They finish with a flat iron or with an iron, and that's part of their blow dry service. So we encourage our girls at the studio to do the same thing because it does lock in the cuticles. They seal it better. There's more shine to it, and it lasts longer. So tomorrow her blow dry will still be there. I mean, it'll last 3 days. If you don't iron, it's still great and it still looks good, but probably by the next day, because you know you get a little hot when you sleep, and just a little bit of heat will reshape the hair. So you wake up and you're thinking, what? When you look in the mirror. So this way it locks it in. So it literally just takes her like not even 5 minutes to curl, because it's ginormous. Like I can do it in 6 sections and curl somebody's hair like this long in 6 sections. Oh, and while she's doing that, I'll show you the 6 sections I do. So I always section it just straight up in half, and then this right here would be 1 section, and I curl it back, of course, and the leftover I divide in 2. Section 2, section 3, and then 3 on this side. And when you shake it out, you get, like, I mean, it's not tight curls, but you get a nice little wave.
So I do hair as well, and one thing I notice with my clients, they don't know how to curl. I don't know if most of you do this too. They all go to the very end first and then start curling down. Once you release it, the curl's only on the bottom. So in 5 minutes, if you have like hair that falls fast, it's gonna fall like right when you're done. So I always tell them to start closer to the root and leave the tips out. You worry about that last.
Yeah, and it gives the ends less heat, so you're protecting them as well.
So when you unravel it, the curls all through the hair, except just at the bottom.
Who has one of these little guys? They're amazing. Sally's amazing. I wish I could make one of these. But it teases crazy. I've tried many brushes. I've tried the teasing comb. It works, but nothing works better than this.
What kind of brushes were you using? Like, what kind of brand were they?
No big brand. I went to the hair show and they're just generic. This says Eco Ionic.
That's because you like them.
Yeah, I've used Conair brushes. Some of the girls, anyone I can grab I use. I feel it leaves the same finish. I like the aluminum base on clients that don't have too damaged, because if it's too damaged, what this does is when it heats up, it acts like a curling iron. So it gets really hot and it helps with the blow dry. I like that it has holes so the air vents right through. But you can use the wooden ones with the smaller bristles for extra curly hair. That's the best because it grips and the tension is really good and it helps straighten it out better. And whatnot. Oh, you got to use this brush and you got to use it. And I'm like, oh, you get the same results as long as it's venting and using the right brush for the right finish. Haircut, like a razor cut or something like that. That's my favorite. I'm probably the only one in the studio that like loves the razor. It's scary, right? Because you're like, ah. But it's, yeah, you get more wispy, PC looks with the razor. I use it in all my haircuts. Curly hair, I kind of watch it when it's too curly because then it adds more curl to it. And see, the big iron is best. It gives you enough waves, but it kind of doesn't look too curly or too overdone, right? And I like my bangs smoother. Yeah, that's actually. So what I'll do is I'll iron just a little bit here.
We both finish differently. She likes it more smoother. I like it a little bit curlier. So she's smoothing out my curls.
Not that I didn't like them. Because both way works. If she was, say, wanted a little extra formal, then yeah, I would keep that. Oh, you have my brush. Okay, so teasing, this is fun. That's why this brush is amazing, because you can section with the tail. And I start right before maybe about 1 to 2 inches before the hairline. Oh, yeah, perimeter. And you over direct. Make sure it's nice and taut. And you tease just that bottom. So I'm not doing it up here. I want to create the cushion 1 inch away from the root. So you back home and you leave it. Then you grab another section here. And the section is probably the size of your size of your thumb. And again, over direct, hold it taut. Apologize to them in advance because I know it hurts a little bit. Sorry, hun. And then you can use that to move it out of your way. And it's just the mohawk area I'm focusing on right now. Over direct, hold it taut, tease, move it out of your way. And you take it past the occipital bone, okay? And here I over direct this way, and then over direct, and then I start straightening out. When I get back here, it starts coming out to a 90-degree angle, okay? And you don't have to you can even brush this out because you don't want the teasing to be anywhere past this. Okay. I do. Then you grab a very light hold hairspray. Not a firm hold, not even a medium. It has to be really, really light because you don't want it to stay all wrinkled like the teasing tumbleweedy. So you want to spray each section. And I know it looks ginormous, but we'll bring it down. Then I'm going to work a little bit on the side so it's a balance. Then I work on this section here. Just a little tease out of my way. Grab this little guy here. And these I hold up straight up 90 degrees. Little tease out of the way. And here you'll be doing less, like half an inch. You just want to fluff it a little bit. And I don't do this, of course, for all clients, all the blow dries. This is just, I'm going out tonight. Can you give me a little extra oomph? So we do this. And usually that's all it takes. Like you don't have to do, it doesn't take too long. And then, very feathery strokes. Light, light, light. And you start combing out just to balance. And use your fingers to pat. And it gives her instant volume. Okay, we'll move this out of the way and we'll do the same thing on this side. And this is good for so many hairdos. For updos, for an era look, like if you want that 70s beehive or the bandana they wear in the big old 70s thing.
Or even the Hollywood waves, right?
Hollywood waves. And now spray. And it's important for the ones in the back. See how there's a hole right here? You see that, everybody? So it's important out. Fan this out. And maybe even grab a little bit from each section and hit it one more time so that it balances. So you don't want holes in there. And then feathery strokes. And you're still shaping and sculpting the hair, focusing more on the ends. So when I get to the top part, I drop one section at a time and I fan it out and I smooth. And you see how I follow it with my hand? And then you want to maintain the bottom. Smooth, grab the next section, fan it out. And sorry, I'm giving you an evening look this early. And then I save the bangs for last. So practice this, getting it nice and smooth. Practice balancing, make sure there's no holes like I just showed you. And then for the bangs, I just give it one last small little tease just to kind of blend in well. And then usually the mirror's in front of me so I can look in the mirror and sculpt and whatnot. Right now it's not helping me, huh? Okay, but you see the lift. And now I'm going to finish with, I didn't bring any firm hold, but I'm sure she doesn't mind it not so hard. So it gave her instant volume. So even like Jeannie Mai has 3 little hairs, I tell her, you have 3 little hairs, how can I work with this? But she would love the teasing. She would love the volume. I made it look like she had tons of hair. This smells yummy. I call it hair perfume. It's not hairspray. But you see the volume she got without it looking too crazy? Sorry, you got your shirt all white. And there you go. That's like an amazing blow dry with quick little curls. Thank you. Yay! You're full and voluminous. You're welcome. Thanks for being a